Hi everyone, it's Claire Prothero here. We're chatting about happiness and equality in your partnerships. And if anyone's been in business partnerships or you're in business partnerships, and I even say this to people who are working in teams, we understand the frustration that can that can emerge from working in a team. And so what often happens is that the conflict is really a symptom of something that is lacking or a need. So behind that conflict is a need. And what we're going to be exploring is what are those needs. Now, one thing through my years, many years of working with business partners, the one thing that they seem to come out with, and even in project teams, is that they understand the importance of everyone knowing sort of roles and responsibilities, not in a rigid, structured way, because not everyone is rigid and structured, but more or less knowing where people operate at their best. So I'm not talking about just understanding, oh, I've been doing this for years in the business, and this is why I'll continue doing this for years, because that leads to a lot of resentment. And resentment is because you don't feel like you're fulfilling your potential, or you don't feel you have a voice. Resentment is a huge sense of disempowerment. So we want to move away from that and get clear about roles and responsibilities. I'm just going to give you an example very quickly. If we were looking at this, often where I meet people, and I did even 15 years ago, and I still have my clients I still deal with, who's become a very good friend and organizer. When I met them, there was the CEO who was the innovator, and it was the organizer who was the ops director was the organizer. And there was a huge amount of conflict because the CEO kept wanting to move forward with a vision and bring in new ideas and take risks. And then the organizer was kind of, well, let's just get some clear systems and processes first, because it's just going to be more chaos, more of what we have already. So let's kind of reel back. So what often emerges is that they realize through sort of like self-discovery, there's an inner knowing, because these are business owners, entrepreneurs, business leaders. They need to get clear on roles and responsibilities. And I would just say, if you're going to do any kind of profiling tools, just make sure that you understand there's the concept of adaptation. So that's what the Maverick Accelerator is looking at, because I was good at things and I got stuck in jobs that I hated, and it made me very sick. So we don't want to be putting people in jobs because that's what their degrees are. We want to be putting people in jobs because that's what they love. That's what they're really proficient at. That's what they're skilled at, because they're going to be doing it the best in the business. You know, if you've got the organizer, a left-brained, who's managing the finances, you know, and they really enjoy the finances, they're going to be researching different platforms. They're going to be looking at successful organizations. They're going to be looking at your systems and process, you know, the existing systems and processes, and how to improve that. So there's going to be a lot of internal motivation. You'll say goodbye to that procrastination. So I'm just going to give you an example. I say we're going to all take a beach trip, or, you know, I'm saying to different people, so let's say two business owners. I'm saying to the one business owner whose primary mode is an innovator, we're going on a beach trip, and it's going to be a bit of a road trip. I'm going to say that to say one who's the primary mode is the innovator. Instantly, they'll see the movie along the beachfront with friends. Perhaps they're more extroverted, and they're thinking, oh, this is going to be cool, and they've got this like very clear vision of what they're going to be doing, you know, sort of in snapshots of a movie. Whereas if I'm speaking to an organizer, where their primary mode is processing, their primary mode, remember, is how they process information. If they're processing through the organizer, they're going to be thinking, okay, what am I going to need? Who's going to be on there? Where are we going to go? What's going to be sort of the finer details? So when we start to see the one person thinking, oh, that sounds all very boring and detailed, and the other person is thinking, oh, you know, the organizer's thinking, oh, this is just another pie in the sky idea. And what we miss, because we're communicating from like separate places, what we don't understand each other, and we're kind of thinking our way is the better way. And what we miss is the wisdom of both views, because if you can have both views, what an amazing trip it can be. Someone who's going to be preparing with the finer details, also remembering not to micromanage, and someone who's creating the big picture, the enjoyment. And you can see how this can relate to projects. If you've got, say, a prioritizer in the business, or a project plan, or one of the business leaders as a prioritizer, and the other business leader, the other business partner, is a relator, or say in a family business, you've got relators in there because you haven't employed people for skill sets, you've brought them in as family members, then this prioritizer is going to be thinking of profit margins, and the relator is going to be thinking, well, how is this new system going to affect the business? How is it going to affect the people? This new business system, how are people going to feel about it? So the relator is going to ensure that there's integration and less resistance. The prioritizer is going to look, is this going to be a profitable system that we bring in? So you can see that there's value in each of them. And of course, depending on if you're extroverted or introverted, how you will relay that information, how you will relay those ideas, how you relay your feelings, how do you communicate that your need for step-by-step processes. Also, if you're more extroverted prioritizer, you perhaps are going to be more outspoken and may rub people up the wrong way if you are not aware of tone of voice. You're going to rub especially the relator up the wrong way. So we want to ensure that when we're looking at roles and responsibilities, we want to be positioning people where they are going to be better than everyone else, most motivated, most energized, do it with greater accuracy. They're going to be Googling and researching how to improve. We want that best person in the business. And then we also want to be appreciating that when you move as a whole brain, when you have all aspects included, you're bringing in the wisdom of all. That's why you're paying people. That's why you are a business partner. You're utilizing each other's strengths. You need to draw on those strengths. And we do that through respecting and acknowledging that people process differently and people bring different gifts. And the Maverick Accelerator is about helping you understand what those gifts are. What are those talents? So we can align you in the business to the best, in the best role where you're most likely to succeed, which means the relationship is going to be better, which means the business will succeed. So we don't want to be pushing people into, particularly in family type of businesses, pushing people into, often in family businesses, we haven't recruited someone necessarily, but we've got that person in the family and we've brought them into the business. Now we need to find space for them. So it's very important to see, okay, these are the strengths that they bring. This is what they enjoy doing. This is what their passion is, what their area of interest is. How are we going to make space for them in the business? And inevitably, there's always going to be a position in the business for every single role. So that is my message to you, is it's important because when we're put in positions that we're not happy with, we feel resentment. And when we feel resentment, it means that we're coming from a place of disempowerment. We're feeling disempowered. We don't know how to voice. We don't know how to express ourselves. Either we don't know what the problem is, or we don't know how to communicate our problem. We're fearful about how to communicate and the response we'll receive. And so it's very important to understand yourself first. And then you can then you can start to realize, oh, I understand myself, but I'm still battling to communicate what I need and what I want. Okay, so that's our 10 minutes of flow on this Friday. I hope that has been helpful. Perhaps have a look there who you are most. If you're not sure, it's really, really worth doing the Maverick assessment. And then we can hop on a quick call and I can kind of run through those results with you, even for your partners and whatever. It just really brings that respect, that appreciation and acknowledgement, so we can start to really see where people are at their best. Okay, that's it for now. Bye for now.